With the Trishul, the Indian Navy knew how to create the biggest blaze of South Asia. Operation Trident was one of the biggest operations for the Indian Navy to ravage Pakistan oil supply and the port of Karachi. The port of Karachi was very important for Pakistan's maritime trade supply, and it was defended by PAF strike aircrafts. When war broke out with Pakistan on the 3rd of December 1971, the Indian Navy had already made plans to ravage Karachi port. The plans for this operation was made by Captain GULAB, MOHANLAL, HIRANANDANI, and a strike group was formed led by the legendary Commodore Babru Bhan Yadav. The strike group consisted of 3 VIDYUT class missile boats and 2 Arnala class corvettes with a fuel tanker. Now, these 3 VIDYUT class missile boats were actually named as the 25 Missile Boat Squadron. These missile boats were obtained from the Soviet Union, and about 100 officers and 200 sailors had trained in the Soviet Union in 1969 on these missile boats and how to operate the Styx anti-ship missiles on these missile boats. These missile boats were named as the INS Nipat, the INS Nirghat, and the INS Veer. Lieutenant Commander Bahadur Nariman Kabina commanded the INS Nipat. Lieutenant Commander Inderjit Sharma commanded the INS Nirghat. Lieutenant Commander M.O. Thamachan and Lieutenant Commander O.M. Prakash Mehta commanded the INS Veer. After the Prime Minister's declaration of war, this strike group moved out from the port of Okha towards the port of Karachi. By the 4th of December evening, they were already 250 nautical miles away from the Okha port. They were still out of the surveillance of the Pakistani Air Force. By 10:30 p.m., this strike group had closed about 70 nautical miles away from the port of Karachi. Slowly, the Pakistani naval vessels were being observed by this strike group. The Pakistanis were completely unaware and unprepared. They had their fleet open up in that area. That is when the INS Nirghat fired its first P-15 Styx missile on PNS Khyber. The PNS Khyber was a battle-class destroyer ship. The P-15 missile flew in and hid below the galley of the PNS Khyber in the electrician's mess deck. This created a huge explosion in the boiler. From this explosion, the PNS Khyber thought that maybe the Indian Air Force was nearby. They engaged their anti-aircraft defenses, and that is when the INS Nirghat fired another missile. This time, it hit the second boiler room of the PNS Khyber. From a massive explosion, about 222 sailors and officers were killed as the PNS Khyber started drowning. Meanwhile, the INS Nipat spotted the MV Venus Challenger and a C-class battle destroyer, the PNS Shah Jahan, escorting the MV Venus Challenger. That is when, spotting these two ripe targets, the INS Nipat fired 2 P-15 missiles. The MV Venus Challenger was carrying heavy weapons and ammunition, and the biggest blaze of South Asia was seen for the first time as this ship went up in a huge explosion from the detonation of the missile. Both of the ships sank about 23 nautical miles away from the Karachi port. Now was the time for the INS Veer. It spotted the PNS Muhafiz, a minesweeper ship, and it fired its missile. The PNS Muhafiz sank almost immediately, killing 33 sailors. This was also going to be the first time in history where anti-ship missiles were going to be used against land-based targets. After this massive rampage, this entire battle group moved closer towards the Karachi port. They spotted the Keamari oil fields, and the missile boats fired towards these oil fields, creating the biggest blaze of South Asia ever. This was the second one, and this was the biggest. The explosions were far greater than what Pakistan would have even thought in their biggest nightmares. Without a single casualty, all of these missile boats from the 25 Missile Boat Squadron had returned safely. Operation Trident had almost ravaged the Pakistan Navy's ability to counterattack or even fight the Indian Navy anywhere. And eventually Pakistan started having a big fuel crisis, which reduced the war effort against India. For the exceptional planning of this operation, Captain GULAB MOHANLAL HIRANANDANI was awarded the Nausena Medal. Commodore Babru Bhan Yadav, the commander of this entire strike group, was awarded the Mahavir Chakra, and each of the commanders of these missile boat vessels were awarded the Veer Chakra. And also, for his exceptional service, Master Chief M.N. Sehgal was awarded the Veer Chakra. This exceptional victory of the Indian Navy is celebrated in India as the Navy Day. Operation Trident had secured Indian Navy's place in history, and now it was the time for Operation Python to strike the last hammer on the coffin of the Pakistani Navy in the 1971 war. For more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. Thank you.